There we go again. I had to pause the previous video, so this is the second iteration of Wandering Talks. Today's episode is brought to you by Low Power Mode. And if you don't know what low power mode is, I mean, I'm sure you know what low power mode is if you have a cell phone, but it's basically, you get down to about the last 20, 15, 10% of your battery life, your phone hits you with this prompt and asks you, like, hey, do you want to, like, cut back on some things to preserve your battery life to make sure that you're, like, functional? We might shut down some things, but it's all because we're trying to conserve our power and conserve our energy, because we never know how long we'll need the phone to be alive, because once it's dead, it's dead. I am not a cell phone, but I am a machine. A human being is a machine in some ways. And like a machine, I have periods where there's high power and periods where there's low power. And today is just a little bit lower. Doesn't mean it's sad. Doesn't mean it's difficult or bad. It just means I'm going slow and steady. And when I think about slow and steady, I also think about, like, preparation. Preparation, the ability to gather resources, gather skills, gather individuals, to be ready to face whatever is coming your way. Preparation is like one of the most, I think it goes way back. Like hunter-gatherers building things for seasons. Animals prepare for the changing of seasons. They prepare for birth. They prepare for death. Preparation is just an essential component of nature. And yet, like, oh my gosh, I can remember being in high school and just loving the concept of procrastination. Same with college. Early college was like, procrastination got this, like, cool kids rep. Like, I didn't need to study. I didn't need to prepare for this. I'm just going to, like, do it. And I will agree and attest that there is a lot of power that is in the moment. That, like, when your back's against the wall, you will make some really key decisions, and you can kind of, like, overcome a lot of things with minute-to-minute decision making. Not going to say that that's not effective, but it's also important to recognize, like, you might be equally effective, if not more, if you've had time to prepare for a thing. If you've had time to, like, sit, gather what you need, build your resources, so that when the thing comes around, you're ready for it. I'm thinking about preparation because a couple of days ago, my best friend and I, hosted our second cook-up, which is basically when we're bringing a bunch of musicians together to my house and making music, making community connections, networking, and kind of just having a good, fun time with other musicians. Real simple stuff. And as I mentioned, it's our second time doing it. The first one was back in January, and I was listening to some of the feedback that we got yesterday from the participants, and the things that really stood out to me were the people who showed up to the first one, who said that, like, yeah, nah, this was a great first time thing, but this time was really good. This one really had me tuned in, zoomed in, whatever you want to call it. And that really hit me here in all the good ways, because what the participants may or may not know is that me and my best friend and our other teammate had been meeting at least once a week to prepare for the second one. We viewed it in a way that we just put it out there for the first one because we needed a blueprint to kind of start with. And then once we had the blueprint, we spent the next couple weeks enhancing it, asking ourselves, what do we need to keep? What do we need to take away? How can we better prepare ourselves for the next one? And even though we had maybe a couple of other things that could have been tweaked and worked on, for the most part, we had another very successful endeavor. And it was better than the previous one, not only from the participants' point of view, but from us, the producers, as well. And it just reminded me how, if you do prepare for a thing, you will probably have a higher probability of excelling at it. It doesn't mean that you will, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to what you do in the moment. But if you've prepared for the moment will be ready for you, and you'll be ready for it. Again, though, preparation is sometimes slow. It's sometimes difficult work. It's sometimes harder to prepare for a thing than to actually do the thing. Preparation requires effort, and you might struggle with it. You might ask yourself, like, man, this is taking up too much time, or I don't know if I'm really doing this as well as I should be. But that's also part of it. That's part of the charm. Like, you put in the work now so you don't have to put in the work later. Grind in the winter to shine in the summer. Do what you need to do now so that one day you won't have to do that level of work anymore. And why do we need to prepare? Because like we said last time, life is chaotic. Life is unpredictable. Life is going to be life. It's going to be a complex system of random occurrences or fate, depending on whichever you ascribe to. But we have to be ready for the things that it's going to throw us. And of course, because it is somewhat unpredictable, we might not be able to be ready for everything. But we can increase our chances of survivability if we prepare. It is still winter despite it being like beautiful out here. And when I think about the winter season, I often feel like that is the season to really... It's not the season to prepare. It's actually the season to show how well you did prepare. Because you can't prepare in winter. Winter is what you are waiting for. It's like, dang, there are no animals to hunt. There are no crops to feed off of. Winter is tough. So that's why we spend sometimes a season, sometimes all year, preparing, getting ready for that challenge. And sometimes the challenge is just a day. Sometimes the challenge is a few days. And sometimes that challenge is weeks and months and maybe even years. So how do we get ready for it besides, the obvious of like gathering our resources? A lot of it is mindset. It's acknowledging that there's going to be work to be done and then stepping forth and doing the work. Doing the work. We live in 2025 now, and one of the biggest buzzwords for the last couple years, thanks to a lot of the new age spirituality people. No shade to y'all. That was a little bit rude to make that sound like that, but intention. Intention is this word that I don't know who co-opted it, but all of a sudden it was like one of the biggest words. I heard it everywhere, from my professional people in healthcare to my woo-woo poet people. Everybody was talking about intentions. And intentions often get confused with desires. Sometimes we desire a thing. A lot of times we desire a thing. Intention can be about pursuing our desires, but it's also about setting a plan. Like, intention is just another way of saying I'm preparing. When I intend to do something, I am preparing to do something. If I have intent, it means I've thought about it. It isn't just something that's spur of the moment or random or impromptu. It's like, no. Intention asks us to consider what it is we're about to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're doing it. I'm reading right now All About Love by Bell Hooks. First book by her I'm reading, and I know that a lot of people, especially like writers and poets and social justice activist individuals, have quoted her, and I know of her quotes, but to be able to dive into her literature at this particular chapter in my life is also pretty fascinating. But in the earlier chapter, she's having this sociological theory about asking, like, what does it mean to love? Like, what is love? Is there like a universal definition for this? And she did a lot of searching and didn't find much of anything, but she did find something. Basically, I'm paraphrasing it, but said that love is like an act of will, and will is intention and action. And, it isn't just the intention that is the key part of that statement. It's also the action. And I think that preparation is not just the full picture either. It's the action that we're going to do because we've prepared. And we need to have the action because it's going to reinforce what we have done in terms of preparation. Because again, it's like the opposite of this would be a doomsday prepper. Somebody who is just preparing and preparing and preparing for something that is not really guaranteed to happen. And what does doomsday even look like? It kind of looks really calm and quiet, like right now. But no, like that they get stuck in the preparation process so long that they don't recognize and realize that, like, no, this whole thing is pointless unless I can act on it, which is kind of scary because a lot of people are wanting a doomsday so that they can act on it. But you can't just have preparation without anything. I don't know. I think about my career as a poet, specifically like a spoken word artist, being on stage, and oftentimes it can, to an audience member, it can look like I just got up out my chair and just gave them like a 30-minute spectacle that was phenomenal and fascinating. And how did you have all that? Like, did you just think about that? And it's like, no, I've been preparing for this. I have a very strictish routine for my performances, and I find that if I do the routine, I have a very high chance of doing a really good performance. If I don't do the routine, then sometimes I don't do as well as I could have, but I still do all right, because that's just how good I am. But I'm able to see how I act and achieve when I prepare versus when I don't. And every single time that I prepared, I've often done better objectively than the times that I've just gone out and done it. It's still fun to go out and just have the spontaneity, but there's something about the aspect of preparing, of getting all things in order, so that when it is time to do whatever needs to be done, that you don't have to think about, where is this? What's that? Should this be right here? Nah, all you gotta focus on is the action. And guess what? The action's gonna take just as much time, energy, and focus and power as the preparation. And you don't want to go in and have to do both of them. it's just not fun that way. So I think the message for today is one, take it easy if you need. Seasons transitioning into new states and phases, so enjoy yourself. And two, in this time of year, ask, what should I be preparing? How can I prepare? And what is it I'm preparing for? Because life's gonna bring you something. The question is, are you gonna be ready? Shout out to the lake.